All right, everybody, welcome back. This is week 35, Defy Aging. And this week is a little bit different. So we have one very large circuit, but because of that, it's going to take most of the session time. So we are going to forego a team builder this week. So we do have 10 stations. We're going to rotate around the turf on those 10 stations, only twice because 10 stations will take a while. And it's also going to be a relatively long interval time. We're going to do 50 seconds on and 30 seconds off for both of those rounds. So it'll just have a little different feel this week, kind of a different cadence. Again, 10 stations, so it might be a long demo. I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can. So let's get right to it. Okay, station one, battle ropes, but I'm not going to demonstrate anything, so I'm actually going to leave this up to your coaches. It's just a battle rope variety. So I'm going to leave this up to coach's choice. They might have something new to show you, might be a back to basics. Each round might be the same thing, or your coach might choose to switch it up from round one to round two. Again, I'm going to leave it up to coach's choice this week. So it will be a battle rope exercise, but I don't know what to demonstrate for you because it's up to your coach. Next station is a half kneel overhead press. We do this one often, but typically we do it as a single arm. We're going to do it as a double arm this week. So we do need 2 dumbbells. Get into that half kneel position, palms forward for the hand position, and we're going to go into that overhead press. You want to bring the dumbbells down low enough, but definitely not too low like this. So stop them when they're about at your like cheek or chin level. So we don't want them to come too far down here, but we also don't want to stop them too high. If your weights are too heavy, you might find yourself stopping them about here. Then you know they're too heavy. So bring them down again. Cheek or chin level is a good depth to bring them down to. Since we do have 2 rounds, you can switch your knee position for round 2. So that way we don't have to worry about switching leg positions halfway through the set. So round 1, one side, round 2, other side. But both rounds, we're going to be pressing both arms. So the next one is a squat to a band row. We've done this one before. So you want to break it up into the 2 movements, have the squat first, the row second. If you try to kind of combine them, it ends up being a little messy and you actually kind of tip backwards a little bit. So arms out and straight before you start anything else. Do your squat first, then do your row. So arms are going to stay straight when you do your squat, then come up with your row second. And notice with the row, I keep my shoulders down and you're not doing any kind of shrugging. So again, squat first, and you come up, and then you do your row. Squat, down, row. What people tend to want to do, I've noticed, is kind of squat while they're, or row while they're squatting. And that, again, gets a little bit messy, and it also creates a little sensation of wanting to tip backwards. So we don't want anyone to tip backwards. So think of it in your head as squat, up, row, and that should help. So that's station number 3. Our next station is going to be a little bit of cardio. We have shuffles. Haven't had those for a while, so this one will take up a good amount of space. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. So with shuffles, we just want to make sure that we're staying kind of low. It doesn't have to be as low as a squat, but you do want to have sort of that hips back position. So we're not just bending the knees and letting the knees come forward. But again, kind of like you were going to go into a squat, you just don't go all the way down. And that's our that's our permanent position. And then kind of take those little shuffles. I know it's hard to get, I can only show you a couple because I go out of the frame. But anyways, maybe if I go this way. So yeah. But yeah, if you want to stay down in that body position, see how I wasn't bopping up and down too much. And you want to be nice and light on the balls of your feet. So you should be pretty agile and nice and light on your feet. So we're not doing any stomping, hard-footed, heavy-footed. And you can take that to whatever intensity works for you. You can go really, really fast, and you can really start cruising. You can take it on the slower side. You can also take it to more of a step. If you're not quite there yet, if these are new for you, you have any sort of restriction, limitation, you can take those to a step until you are maybe ready to try the higher intensity speed. So take those to whatever level works for you. The faster you go, the more aerobic it's going to be, obviously. And that is our shuffle. Next station is a farmer's carry, which we've also done a lot. And now that I'm thinking about it, we have shuffles and farmer's carries. I hope we have space for all these stations in some of our smaller gyms. Anyways, um, this week though, I have in our template for the coaches to offer up a variety of tools. Typically, I'd say we almost always do the kettlebells. You can definitely do farmer's carries with dumbbells. In large facilities, you can even do them like with barbells, but you need a lot of space for that, and it's very tricky. Um, and you can do them with, I grabbed some weight plates. These are 25s. You do them with weight plates. The tricky thing about weight plates is that there's only so many weights. There's only 10s, which is pretty light for a farmer's carry, really. Then the next weight up is a 25. Some of the gyms have 35s. Not all the gyms have those. And then the 45s. So it's like you don't have all the increments of weights like you do for dumbbells. But anyway, and you're probably thinking like, what's the difference? Weight is weight. Yes, so weight is weight. It's doing the same thing to like with gravity, right? However, it's just all those different tools distribute the weight differently. Kettlebell is bottom loaded. Dumbbell has even weight on each side of the tool. A plate is, it's just kind of spread out all over the place evenly. It's definitely more of a bottom loaded feel, however. They all just feel different in your hands. So it's really just variety. Neither one is superior to another. Variety is always good to give your body just a new feel. So that being said, your coach might just have one pile of stuff out for you. They might let you choose before the session and run around the gym, grab what you're going to use, bring it back so it's ready. Let's try a variety. But anyway, let's go over the farmer's carry really quick. I think we all know. Now, this is me kind of not thinking about it, kind of like slouched, right? I'm just kind of like meh. But we don't want to do that. We want to enforce proper spinal alignment, position, posture. So I'm going to take my shoulders up and then back and down. You bring them up first to kind of get them in position, then back, then down. I have a nice proud chest, tall spine, shoulders down and back. Want to keep those shoulder blades locked in position. And then we just go for a nice controlled walk. We're not going for speed. Farmer's carries aren't for speed. They're also not slow motion. So just a good, comfortable speed for you. That was pretty, once I got the explanation out about the tools, the farmer's carry is pretty straightforward. When you get to the end of the whatever route your coach has, turn around and come back for the full 50 seconds. So you might go down and back a few times. Maybe your coach is going to say walk around the gym. So you might have to do some winding around some equipment. That's kind of fun. But the biggest thing is just those shoulders down and back, so we're not starting to do this. All right? Have fun trying something new. If you're used to kettlebells, try something different. If you're used to dumbbells, switch to the kettlebells. Try those weight plates. And yeah, let's give it a shot. Next one, lateral step-ups. Exactly what it sounds like. We're stepping up laterally. You got 2 legs. We got 2 rounds, so you do round 1 on one side, round 2 on the other side. Again, that way we don't have to worry about switching sides halfway through each set. So you start on the side of it, and we are going to do all the way up, all the way down. So the only thing to keep in mind here is to make sure you're leaving yourself enough space for your other foot to come up. What I mean by that is don't come up leaving this little of space, and then you come up with that other foot. You don't really have enough space here. So you do have to take a relatively wide step when you're coming up. Same thing when you're going back down. So it is something to keep in mind. You can hold on to weights if you feel like you're at that level and you either want the added resistance. Well, I guess that's the only reason. But you might not be able to do that if you feel like you need some help with the balance. So you can do this when you're a wall or a rack to assist yourself with the balance. But of course, then you can't hold on to 2 dumbbells. You can hold on to 1 with your free hand, but weight is optional. Let's give these lateral step-ups a try. Next up, we have an anti-rotation side step. So most gyms are probably going to do this with the band, but you can do this with the cable. The cable machine is that big thing there. You can do it with a cable as well. So if any of the clubs have one of those cable setups in their turf area, go for it. The coaches will know how to set that up properly for this. I guess I'm a little far out. Okay, hands are overlapped on the handle at your chest, but then you're going to extend the arms out. Okay, chest tight. As you're extending your arms out, don't shrug. Okay, big thing. You want to start in towards the anchor point where it's relatively easy. And we're gonna take a step out. If it feels like you go farther, you can take 2 steps, that's fine. But don't go so far out that it's starting to get sloppy and like, you're sinking or you're tipping or you're caving or your hands are starting to have to go in. Your hand should always be in front of your chest. So if you're starting to need to do this, you went out too far. So it's called anti-rotation. We're trying not to do any rotating. We're trying to lock it in sturdy and straight. Okay, so again, you would do 1, maybe 2 steps out. Then honestly, it's almost harder to control it back in. My camera's at an angle, so I think it's making it look sideways. Let me see if I can get it straight on. That might give you a better, I don't know. Yeah, now you can tell that I'm trying to stay like nice and straight, I think. So I'm not shrugging, okay? I'm not bending my elbows. So make sure you're not bending your elbows at all. They should be locked in straight. Yeah, so it's core. You're gonna feel like probably the side of the body that's inside, closest to the anchor point, is where you're probably gonna feel most of the tension. Again, we'll do one side each round, so you don't have to worry about switching sides halfway through. You're gonna just feel probably some hips, like back here, piriformis, like hip, glute, core. You might feel everything, okay? It's kind of total body. We're trying not to twist, not to turn, and let's give it a shot. Next one needs no demonstration because it's going to be coach's choice. We're going to do an agility ladder station, coach's choice. So there's kind of some standard ones for the agility ladder, ones that I typically have everyone do, but there might be some that that you have not done, that your coaches know that I do not know. I don't know. So I'm not going to get it out. We're just going to let the coaches lay it out on the floor and demonstrate something for you, and that will be our agility ladder station. Station 9, we're almost there. It's an I-Y raise. Okay, it's working your rear delts, maybe a little of your upper back, some traps. So everything really, really high in your upper back of the shoulders. Laying on your stomach, arms start out in an I position, so just straight out, basically in front of you. The key here though is it's not Superman, so we're not like lifting the whole torso. So we're trying not to get the chest and the torso off the floor. So you keep your chest down, you keep your head down. So we're trying to lift just the arms. They might only lift like an inch. It's very hard. So we do one lifting in the I position. And then as you're kind of lifting into the Y position, that you can kind of lift and go into the Y simultaneously. So I'll show you what I mean. I, Y. I, Y. So I kind of went out to the Y and back into the I. Maybe I'll show you straight on. I guess that makes more sense. I, Y. I, Y. But did you see how I wasn't lifting like my torso? It's just my arms. It's harder than it looks. So anyone not getting onto the floor, you can do that same thing on an incline bench. I'll show you. Okay, so you would set up one of the incline benches at a nice, relatively tall angle. You don't have to fall too far forward. Step over it, lean forward, and do that same thing. Come up into your I, then out into your Y. If you're comfortable and you feel safe, it is safe, I promise you. It's just more of a comfort level. You can bring it one lower. Recline yourself down. And the lower you are, the harder it is. So you're just going to do a little more work on the shoulders. But you can do this on an incline bench, reclining forward on it like that. So if you're unable to get to the floor, don't worry, we've got you covered. Last station, we're going to hit the back again, a little more isolated to a different part of the back, however. And it's going to be a 3-point roll. We do this one quite often, so I still got my weight plates in the way here. Whoops. All right. One hand is supporting you on a bench, and the side with the weight, that's the leg that's back, okay, because it's kind of getting that leg out of the way, first of all, but it's also support. And pull up and back. You do want to make sure that leg is way far back, though. If it's too much, like right here, it's kind of just putting you in like this really crumpled up, kinked position, and it's more likely to cause you to shrug. But if you step that leg pretty far back, it's opening up all this space for the dumbbell. So you're able to more kind of keep the shoulder down the way it's supposed to, not shrug. Because you want to think of pulling the weight more towards your lower rib cage and hip and less towards your upper rib cage and armpit, because we don't want to shrug. So think of pulling it up and back. So if that leg was here in the way, it gets in the way. So get it back there. Keep your back flat. Okay. Anyways, again, 2 arms. So round 1, one side, round 2, other side, and we'll work it like that. The back is a really nice, strong area of your body. So I want you to try to go nice and heavy. It is 50 seconds, so it's kind of a longer set, but challenge yourself. It's not like a bicep curl or a shoulder press. Those are slightly weaker areas of our bodies. Back is nice and strong. So this would be your opportunity to grab something a little on the heavier side. Okay, 10 stations. We do 10 stations like a couple times a year, so it is different. But no team builder. So that is it. That's the end of the demonstration. 50 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 2 rounds. Hope everyone enjoys this workout. See you back next week for week 36. And yes, that will be a new warm up and cool down week as well. So this current week 35, is your last week of this current warm up and cool down. So a lot of new stuff coming next week.